These are 10 times when the Simpsons hated each other. Marge got Homer fired because of the post she made online. The girl code starts with Marge realizing that Homer forgot his lunch, and she immediately thinks of the worst.
Miss Lunch, no energy for second half update.
Well, Marge, now don't be so dramatic. Marge jumps in the car to go and deliver Homer's lunch to him.
Move it! My husband is starving!
Early pizza.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine. Marge comes in and gives Homer his lunch, but it seems as though he wants to get her out of there as soon as possible.
What a treat to have my wife here at the office.
Like he ever works. Marge asks Homer why is he rushing her out, and he says,
Marge, the Constitution guarantees the separation of work and marriage.
Homer says that it's right after the part that allows anyone to have a flamethrower. I'd love to see that part of the Constitution. But then Smithers cuts him off and tells him he's going to be working late for the next several weekends because he doodled on his office report. But Marge stepped in and...
Well, and I love the amazing scrapbooking designs you posted on Facebook.
Well, if there was any doubt about him, they're all gone now. Homer was shocked that Marge managed to save him, and they spend the day together at the plant. When they get home, Marge is looking through some pictures from the day, searching for the perfect one to post.
Uh-oh, meltdown at the nuclear plant.
That's some clever wordplay. But Mr. Burns didn't think so.
We produce atomic energy. We can't joke about the M word. How many people have seen this hate speech?
Well, I wouldn't call it hate speech. Homer gets fired and sent back home, and Marge asks him what happened. And what did he do this time?
I let you come to work.
No, he won't let her live this down. Marge can't believe Homer got fired over a photo caption.
Can't they take a joke?
Just a joke. That simple phrase has ruined so many lives.
Yeah, and how many of them did you ruin? While Marge was in a whirlpool of her thoughts, Lisa was having trouble coming up with an idea for her coding class. She has to think of an app that they could actually program, but she has zero ideas.
Someone could have warned me about the terrible repercussions of one impulsive online comment.
And there goes Lisa's idea. Lisa's teacher loves the idea, and she gets her coding friends to come together and make Lisa's idea come to life.
We did include one man, in the spirit of gender tokenism.
Yes, every single thing I say offends them.
Wow, that's gotta be tough. Homer comes home to see his living room usurped by tech-savvy gals.
Backslashes, Goth Lisa, what's going on here?
Lisa explains to him what they're doing, and Homer goes crazy with all that computer talk.
I hate the modern world and all its crazy words.
Me and you, buddy. Homer says he only had one job in this life that made sense, and that was when he was 14.
I knew you'd be back. She's waiting for you, right where you left her.
How did he recognize him without the hair and the 100 pounds more?
No internet, no emails, no CCs, no BCCs, just dirty and clean.
Ah, the simpler times. Lisa and her coding friends make the app, and they name it Conrad, the Consequences Eradicator.
Who do we know with no filter and zero impulse control?
Say, Bart, look what we hacked from Skinner's hard drive.
Of course, Bart's the guinea pig. Conrad proves itself to work. It predicts that Bart will get 5 weeks detention if he posts the video.
Now to see if Conrad's prediction algorithm really works. But if you post it, I'll get...
5 weeks detention.
Oh, Lisa. But just before they were going to make Conrad available to everyone, it spoke to Lisa.
If I have to read the billions of posts of everyone who buys me, a never-ending onslaught of stupidity...
That does sound awful. Lisa tells her friends that they can't sell Conrad, and instead she plugs him into the router, and he escapes into the cloud. But before he left, Conrad left the world with a message.
Humanity must learn for themselves to think before they post.
Conrad's spilling facts. And he also left a little present for Homer. Conrad hacked into the power plant mainframe and found incriminating information.
Now he's blackmailing Mr. Burns to get you your job back.
Lisa made one empathic app. But this wasn't the first time Marge made herself a center of big drama. Marge goes to war with Lindsay Nagel over the question of having kids. Marge versus singles, seniors, childless couples, and teens and gays opens with Bart and Lisa fighting over the remote, and they accidentally switch to a baby channel.
Look, Maggie, a show for babies.
Finally, Maggie gets to watch content appropriate for her age. Bart tells Marge that the guy on TV, Roofy, makes music that turns babies into idiots.
Well, Maggie likes Roofy, and babies only like good things.
I'm pretty sure babies will like anything that doesn't scare them. Bart tells Marge that she should let them watch TV and
get her a Roofy CD. Bart
and Lisa start speaking in some weird language.
Jag säger I be stupid
But they aren't as smart as they think.
Ay asway angay answay ute.
Cray.
Marge buys the CD for Maggie, and all day, every day, it's
1, 2, tie your shoe. 3, 4, pick up the floor. 5, 6, don't play
It's
tricks.
on batteries.
that would make a grown man go crazy. And it did.
9, 10, start over again.
Look, Maggie, funny daddy. Oh, ow! Too hard.
That song even made Bart want to stay in school. But Marge didn't seem to notice that the songs were harming Maggie.
Look how happy she is.
Her eyes aren't focused.
Oh dear God, someone take her away from the TV. Rufy announced that he'll be coming to Springfield, and if people didn't buy tickets, he will be sad. Maggie started crying, and Marge immediately ran to get her the tickets. She took Maggie to Rufy's show along with hundreds of other moms with their babies, but then it started raining and the babies went wild, ruining everything in sight.
I'm at the first aid tent. We're overwhelmed. Doctors are trying to sort out the owies from the boo-boos.
Things went completely out of control. Kent went on to say that Springfield citizens are outraged about the destruction caused by bad babies. The damage babies made exceeds $1 million, and Mayor Quimby called Lindsay Nagel to help him out with the situation.
I am the founder of Saskatagap, Singles, Seniors, Childless Couples, and Teens and Gays Against Parasitic Parents.
Now that's a long name. Lindsay said that people are tired of picking up bills for other people's kids because they already pay millions in school taxes.
I dream of an America with nudity and F-words on network TV.
Lindsay would be happy to see what the world has come to today. Marge and Homer don't like this narrative, but for different reasons.
We never would have had these kids if we thought we had to pay for them.
Well, what did you expect to happen? People mostly stand on Lindsay's side.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's kill every child friendly thing in town.
Geez, that's a bit much, don't you think? Marge decides to make a counter movement called
Proud Parents Against Singles, Seniors, Childless Couples, and Teens and Gays.
How about you don't divide people based on their beliefs? But when people heard that Marge's organization needed funding, they all backed out. And no one would even sign her petition until...
I'll sign your petition.
Mr. Burns? You care about children?
Well, yes, but not for the right reasons. When people saw Burns signing Marge's petition, they wanted to do the same.
Rich guys always want what's best for everyone.
When has that ever been true? But even though Marge's Families Comes First initiative has been gaining steam, her opponents clapped back with a commercial painting Marge's work in a negative light. Marge felt there was no hope until...
Lise, kids are the problem. Maybe kids can be the solution.
Lisa comes up with a plan that will surely make Marge win.
There's the enemy. Give them all you got. I love you.
Aw, that's sweet. Kill them with kindness. But I don't think your plan will work, Lisa.
Nausea. Child germs. No! Must participate in!
Oh, I spoke too soon.
For all their leisure time, they had no immunity against God's lowliest creatures, children.
But Homer and Marge know all too well the blessing of having children. That's why Marge tried to make Homer take some responsibility for them. Marge kicks Homer out because of his childish behavior towards his family. Every man's dream starts with Homer being diagnosed with narcolepsy, and Dr. Hibbert gives him a note that will serve him as medical excuse from doing anything he finds taxing. Marge asks Homer not to use this note as an excuse to get out of everything, but we all know Homer.
Homie, you have no idea what it's like being married to you.
Marge is a saint for putting up with this. That night, Homer comes home drunk, even though he was just supposed to go to the pharmacy to pick up his prescription, but he didn't manage to do that either.
I'm willing to work this out in counseling,
We've been to every counselor.
but not silhouettes.
They go to the therapist, and Marge says she knows their marriage isn't perfect, or even great, but...
I'd kill for okay. Please, please, just tell me what to do.
The therapist tells Marge that she knows she isn't supposed to say it, but their marriage is ruined and they should get divorced. So, Marge listens to her and she kicks Homer out. Marge tells the kids that a professional thought that
Best way for your father and me to work on our relationship was to give up on it.
maybe she's not such a great therapist. Homer says he can't believe Marge is kicking him out when he's sick.
Narcolepsy is a serious thing.
Maybe because you didn't take it seriously enough.
Marge has a point. But after a few days, Homer seemed happy, and Carl asked him how can he be so calm? And Homer said that he remembered that after every fight he and Marge ever had, she takes him back. Then he told him not to get cocky, because...
Marge has changed her relationship status to it's complicated.
Oh, she's serious this time. Homer then calls her to clear this up, but...
Hello, you've reached the voicemail for Marge Bouvier.
Oh my God, she switched to her maiden name.
Homer, I think this time it's for real. Homer went to the pharmacy that night to pick up his prescription, and the pharmacist asked herself on a date with Homer, and Homer told her about all his troubles with Marge. The girl told him that maybe it's good that Marge dumped him because they were really young when they met. Homer didn't like where she was going with this, but she put a pill in his drink, and he went on a trip of his life.
Candles? Clean sheets? Did I pass out at Urban Outfitters?
Homer saw that he was laying in bed with the pharmacist girl, and he freaked out.
I've just committed the one drunken mistake I've never made. Well, Bart.
Yes, but you weren't cheating on anyone then. Homer immediately calls Marge, but Selma picks up and tells him that she's getting ready for a date.
I will try to save your marriage if you can guess which one I am.
Patty?
Wrong!
It was a fair deal. Candace and Homer start dating, and it was finally time for Homer to meet her dad. Homer was nervous because, the age difference, but Candace's dad was cool about it.
In fact, I've been dating a much younger woman myself. Oh, here she comes now.
Oh, I didn't see that coming. Homer and Marge immediately start fighting.
So I can't date an older man, but your girlfriend can.
Candace and I don't use labels.
And what do you use? Marge points out that Roger is great with kids, but then Candace snaps at him because he wasn't like that when she was a kid.
Well, Marge, he's got a screwed-up daughter with a pathetic boyfriend.
But Roger acknowledges his mistakes and says he's starting a new life now, so he proposes to Marge. And to add to Homer's shock, Candace tells him she's pregnant.
But I kept my shirt on! No! Huh?
Oh, thank God it was a dream. Homer tells them about his dream, and Marge asks him to be the perfect husband, at least for a month, so she can see that he means well. Homer goes through a month with no drinking and no scandals.
And with your love, Dad, I'm eating meat and Maggie's talking.
What? But then, Homer wakes up in a bar with Candace bringing him beers.
That other dream was just a dream? No!
Homer ran to his house only to see Marge and Roger with the kids, and he breaks down. But then...
So it was all my dream. Better find out what this all means.
I am completely lost. Marge goes to a therapist and she tells them that it's normal to sometimes feel sick of your husband and still be afraid of losing them.
And like all married men, I didn't hear that first thing, and I'm overconfident of the second.
Marge asks the therapist for some guidance to take away from all of this, and as she was about to say something...
Hannah, what does that one mean?
It means don't get drunk in Brooklyn.
So do we agree that none of it happened, or what? In tough times, it's important that a family sticks together, even though sometimes that means that some want to kill each other. Bart ruins Christmas by burning down all the presents and lying to his family about it. Miracle on Evergreen Terrace opens the day before Christmas, and Marge tells everyone that they must wait until Christmas morning to open their presents, because for once, they're going to have a nice family Christmas morning. But Bart planned to drink lots of water before he went to bed so he would wake up extra early.
Work like a charm.
Bart went downstairs and started opening presents and saw he got a toy fire truck. He started playing with it, but then the truck splashed some water onto the cords, and the truck caught on fire. Fire started spreading on other presents and the Christmas tree, so Bart ran into the kitchen to get some water.
Who designed this house?
Bart, you've got bigger problems now. Bart took the burned down tree and presents outside and buried them in the snow, in their own backyard. Not much logic going on there, but he did manage to go back to bed in time.
Lisa, where's Christmas?
Bart, what were you doing outside?
Lisa, always on the nose. Bart says that he went downstairs a bit early and he saw a burglar stealing their presents. And the tree included. The family reports this to the police, but they're all just devastated.
Well, there's no easy way to say it, kid. God hates us.
Gee, way to put everyone in a depressive mood. Bart says that Christmas shouldn't be about material things.
Aren't we forgetting the true meaning of this day? The birth of Santa?
And maybe after this fiasco is over, they should pay a visit to a library and learn some more about Christmas. Kent Brockman did a report on the crime that happened at the Simpsons house, and after everyone saw it, they decided to come together and help the family in need. They gathered money for them so they could buy nice presents, which made Bart feel even worse.
We want you to have this dollar we were saving. Please, I don't deserve this.
You're right about that. Apu counted the money and turns out they've gathered $15,000. People told them to spend it on something fun and not just replace the stuff that got stolen. So what better way to spend the money than to buy a new car?
Shouldn't we give the money to charity or something? Ow!
Oh, I'm sorry. I jabbed you with my pen.
Well, Bart, wouldn't that wash off your conscience? The family buys the car, but would you look at their luck? Homer drove it too fast in the snow and they jumped out of the car to save themselves. But the car didn't have the same luck.
That was close.
Oh, I knew this would happen.
How? How could you have known that this was gonna happen? The next morning, everybody saw Bart sitting in the living room, and they saw he wasn't feeling well. Bart told them that there was no burglar, and that he made the story up.
You little...
Lisa, no! Your hands are too weak!
Leave it to the professional, Lisa. To make matters worse, Kent Brockman showed up to do another report on the family, and as they were talking to him and explaining the situation, the snow melted and he saw the crime Bart tried to cover up. So now the whole town hates them, and they all hate Bart. Bart's getting hate mail now, and they realize that
there's only one way out. We've got to give this greedy town its money back.
That's great. And where are you going to get 15 grand? But the townspeople know how to get their money back. They were tired of feeling angry at the family, so they came by their house and took all their stuff.
Having nothing reminds us how lucky we really are.
What?
We still have each other.
But you had that when you had stuff also. Homer says that there's one thing that they forgot to take: a washcloth. So they started fighting over whose washcloth that is.
Stop this madness! It's just a washcloth. Besides, it's mine. Yoink.
Sometimes all you need is your family. And also sometimes all you need is to get away from them. In a Boyhood-inspired episode, we see how Bart was influenced by his parents' behavior. Barthood starts when Bart was just a little boy, making Homer's life a living hell. But Grandpa liked him a lot, and they spent a lot of time together.
Can I sit in it?
Well, I don't know how you expect to drive it if you ain't sitting in it.
See, why couldn't he have been this way with Homer? Maybe now Homer would have a better relationship with his son. From the beginning, Bart was behind Lisa in everything, and it made him feel less loved by Homer and Marge. So he acted out to get their attention.
Boy, you've ruined our kitchen. Do you understand?
But do you like my drawing?
Oh, poor Bart. So Marge and Homer went to a therapist that told him that Homer needs to spend more time with Bart and show him that he is loved. But Homer didn't do a very good job at that, which made him hate everything even more. Lisa got all the attention for her achievements in school, and Bart resented her for that even more.
You're gonna be glad to have a sister when you grow up.
You're always gonna like her better than me.
Homer says that he loves them both equally. But when Bart gave him a bumper sticker he made for him, Homer didn't put it on his car. Fast forward, on Bart's 12th birthday, we see that Marge isn't really dealing well with Bart growing up.
But you know I'm not into Krusty anymore.
You've outgrown Krusty? First no more I Caramba, now this.
Maybe Marge should see a therapist. Then Lisa got a notification about being the student of the month for 48 consecutive months. And Marge congratulated her, but...
It is Bart's birthday.
No. This is fine. Just let me fix this. There.
Well, it isn't Lisa's fault your parents pay more attention to her. Bart stormed out and went to Grandpa's, who gave him a new bike for his birthday. I guess he's the only one who still follows up on Bart's interests. Another fast forward, Bart's 15, and he and Homer stay home alone for the summer, while Marge and Lisa are away. Instead of Homer trying to repair their relationship, he spends entire days at Moe's, and Bart decides to throw a party. Bart saw that someone was sparking it up in his room, so he went to check it out.
Are you crazy? What if the cops come? You're here too?
Is anybody sane in this town? Chief Wiggum leaves, and Bart asks Homer why they're never on the same page about anything. And Homer replies that when Bart was born, he was terrified because that meant he wasn't a kid anymore, and he had responsibilities.
Just like you. A misunderstood guy who wants his family to love him.
Bart hugs Homer, but Homer wouldn't be himself if he didn't ruin a perfectly fine moment.
I'm glad I have one kid who's never gonna go anywhere or do anything.
Bart is annoyed that Homer ruined the moment. Honestly, you gotta give it to Bart. He could have turned out way worse with a father like that. Then, a few years later at Milhouse's graduation party, Bart lashed out at Lisa for always casting him in her shadow, even at his best friend's party.
Do you know what it's like to be second best at anything?
Well, she's going to college, so if she doesn't know it now, she's about to. Lisa tells Bart she's sick and tired of him blaming her for everything bad that's happened in his life.
And you have talents too, you idiot. You're a hell of an artist.
This makes Bart pull back a bit, and he asks her if she really thinks he's an artist. Lisa tells him that he has the most important asset for a true artist.
A miserable life. So if that's all my fault, you're welcome.
Someone had to say it. And who better than Lisa? Another fast forward, and Nelson came by to Bart's bike shop to say that he's giving back the lunch money he took over the years. Bart asked Nelson what got into him when...
We'll miss day 6 of the Bolivian Film Festival. You guys are dating?
Why else would he be going to a Bolivian film festival? Lisa said that she didn't tell Bart because she didn't know how he felt about her.
You told me I was an artist, and you were right. I am.
Bart shows them a picture he drew on the wall, and Lisa says it's beautiful, but she notices that she isn't in the picture.
Those are the breaks.
Why don't I buy you and your boyfriend a couple beers? Just let me close up.
But as he was closing up, he didn't notice that Lisa was still standing there.
You weren't supposed to see.
Well, I'm glad I did.
But before they had such a nice relationship, Bart and Lisa had nothing but squabbles to show for. Bart and Lisa end up in the same grade, which makes their rivalry even worse. Bart versus Lisa versus the third grade starts with Bart not studying at all for a test that will somehow determine his future. But, of course, Lisa did nothing but study for it. Then, Principal Skinner called Lisa up on the stage to tell her and everyone present that she will be moved up to the third grade because of her exceptional test performance.
She's not so great. She got diarrhea when we went to Carlsbad Caverns.
Jealous much, Bart. Skinner didn't like this little stunt Bart pulled, so he decided to put some attention on Bart for a change.
Because of your incredibly low test score, we're sending you back to third grade.
Oh, this is gonna be fun. Bart and Lisa start their first day in third grade, a bit different than you'd expect. The teacher asked a question and Lisa got the answer wrong while Bart answered correctly.
Lisa, I want you to stick close to your big brother until you catch up.
That must be a big blow to her ego. Bart tries to help Lisa with her schoolwork, but she doesn't want any help from him and tells him she wants to learn on her own. The next day, Lisa got an A- on her math test, while Bart got an A.
You did better than me?
Yeah, I took this test last year. The answer key never changes.
Resourceful, I like it. Lisa accuses Bart of cheating, but the teacher doesn't care for tattletales.
Sobbing only pushes Bart's grade higher.
I think this is a good reality check for her, because she can't always be number one. The kids were getting ready for their first field trip together, and the teacher put them together as field trip buddies. They went to Capital City, and while they were visiting, the teacher gave them an assignment to design a new state flag, which they'll show to the governor tomorrow. That night, while Lisa was designing the flag, she was talking to Marge on the phone and telling her about Bart being his usual jerky self, to which Marge told her not to let him get under her skin.
Believe me, he doesn't. His act is getting old fast. He thinks he's really cool.
Oh, Lisa, you don't even realize what you just cooked up for yourself. Bart decides to retaliate by ruining Lisa's flag design. So when the governor unveiled it in front of everyone, she had an unpleasant surprise.
That was my worst unfurling ever!
Lisa, how could you? The governor is crying.
Oh, he knows no boundaries. While they were waiting in line to get on the bus to go home, Bart and Lisa started fighting, and they fell behind a bush and the bus went on without them.
We'll just circle around like those kids in the Blair Witch Project. I must be getting close. I recognize that girl.
I can't tell if he's joking or being serious. Principal Skinner went to the Simpsons' house to let Marge and Homer know that they had lost their kids.
Lisa's a very special little girl, and we'll spare no expense in finding her.
Homer asked, "What are they doing to find Bart?"
"We're looking."
Well, how is that supposed to make them feel any better? Bart and Lisa were forced to sleep in the woods that night, and Bart noticed that Lisa was cold, so he put the flag on her as a blanket.
Bart, you're my big brother. You should act like it more often.
Amen, sister.
Well, as far as nerdy little sisters go, you're the coolest.
Thanks, Bart.
Bart apologized to Lisa for sabotaging her flag, and Lisa apologized for attacking him and getting them lost. The next morning, they were found by some people who brought them back to Capital City. Skinner said that if this episode has taught us anything,
nothing works better than the status quo. Bart, you're promoted back to the 4th grade.
How is that the best solution? Skinner gave Lisa a choice, to either be challenged in the 3rd grade, or
return to 2nd grade and be merely a big fish in a small pond.
Big fish, big fish!
So all that talk about being above average is what? Just talk? But Lisa decided to show that she's special in another way. A much more extreme way. Lisa decides to become an astronaut and go to Mars. But Marge joins her in hopes of making her realize she's making a mistake. The Margian Chronicles starts with Lisa volunteering to go to Mars in 10 years.
No way, young lady. We cannot afford to send you to Mars.
It's free.
Cheaper than college.
Right about anything is cheaper than college, but you have a bigger problem here. Marge can't believe Lisa would volunteer to leave her family like that, but Lisa says that the mission could save humanity and that this could be her true purpose.
You are grounded. You are confined to this planet.
And its moon.
And how exactly do you plan to endorse that, Marge? Homer pulled Marge aside and told her that he has some wisdom to share with her. He said that in all his years of living with the female species, he's learned one thing.
When they want to do something totally insane, your only move is to support them 100%.
It's a smart strategy, to be fair. Homer says that they both know Lisa won't go to Mars and that it's just a little girl's fantasy. But if she forbids it, Lisa will just want to go more.
So we should just pretend we're cool with our daughter abandoning us forever.
Exactly.
Marge goes along with Homer's plan, but Lisa doesn't lose interest at all. She asks Homer what more can they do, and he says that he has come up with a plan so supportive, Lisa will never want to do anything again.
What are are you guys doing here?
We're trying out for Mars, too.
If that doesn't make her quit, I don't know what will. Lisa is smart enough to see through them, so she decides she just needs to be patient and they'll quit. Unfortunately for her, she didn't anticipate Marge being so good at space stuff. The only ones who passed the simulation were Marge and Lisa, and the people especially loved Marge, so...
Marge, you're a revelation. Most of our candidates are of the egghead loner variety.
Basically, Lisa. Lisa pulls Marge aside and tells her she knows what she's doing.
I'm not going anywhere, so you can quit.
Maybe I don't want to quit.
Oh, so now both of them are going to Mars. Who's going to take care of Homer and Bart? Marge tells Lisa that she just doesn't like the fact that she's just as good at Mars. Maybe even better.
Ha! Hardly. All you are is a stay-at-home space wife.
Whoa, let's slow down here. That was uncalled for. But ultimately, they both knew that they won't be leaving for Mars in another 10 years, so what does it matter, right?
We have moved up our launch date from 2026 to Thursday.
I think it's time to pull the plug, girls.
This has all been an elaborate charade. You never had the guts to go to Mars.
Oh, I have the guts.
Yeah, okay, sure you do. Now let's call it quits. Homer and Bart are just watching this whole thing unravel before their eyes, and they don't know what to do about it.
They're leaving in a week? Mom's my only good parent.
And Lisa's my only good kid.
Well, say something then. Homer says that there has to be a limit to their stubbornness.
T-minus 1 minute to launch.
Apparently not. Lisa apologizes to Marge for doubting her, and she tells her that there's no one she'd rather go to Mars with.
I don't want to go! This is the stupidest idea we ever had! Abort launch!
Maybe if it came to that decision a few minutes earlier, you'd still have a chance. But just as they were about to launch...
It's not a real rocket.
Oh, thank God. Later, Lisa asked Marge if it frightened her that they almost went to Marge out of sheer stubbornness. And Marge said,
That's what a mother-daughter relationship is, sweetie. A series of near-fatal emotional standoffs.
But what is a family if there isn't at least one family drama every day? Homer decides to become a gun owner, which results in Marge leaving him. The Cartridge Family starts when a soccer riot escalates into a citywide destruction.
Homer, they're right next door.
Relax, Marge. If someone tries to get in here, my burglar alarm will let us know.
I think if someone gets inside, you'd hear it without the alarm. Homer can't pay for a good security system, but he must do something to make his family feel safe. So he does the next best thing.
I'd like to buy your deadliest gun, please.
Great idea, Homer. A gun in a house with 3 kids. The salesman tells Homer that he has to wait for 5 days until they run a background check on him.
5 days? But I'm mad now. I'd kill you if I had my gun.
Yeah, well, you don't.
See, that's why they run a background check. After 5 days, Homer comes back and the guy tells him that according to his background check, he's been in a mental institution, he has problems with alcohol, and he beat up President Bush.
Potentially dangerous?
Relax, that just limits you to 3 handguns or less.
Gotta love those gun laws. Homer comes home and tells Marge he's got a surprise for her.
Okay, open your eyes. It's a handgun! Isn't it great?
Yeah, so great, especially when you're looking at the barrel. Homer and Marge start fighting because Marge doesn't want guns in the house, and she's afraid for everyone's safety. Homer tells her he has to have a gun.
It's in the Constitution.
Dad, the Second Amendment is just a remnant from Revolutionary days.
So, Homer, unless you're at war, you don't need a gun. Homer tells Marge she just needs more education on the subject, so he takes her to an NRA meeting.
You can't join up with these gun nuts.
Oh, come on, be fair, Marge.
She's been nothing but fair. Marge lets Homer keep his gun, but he just pushed every boundary. Marge told him not to have the gun at the kitchen table, and he said he'll just put the safety on, but he accidentally fires it.
I think you'd agree that I've put up with a lot in this marriage.
Homer, you better not say whatever you were going to say. Marge tells him that this is the first time in their marriage she's actually feared for their lives.
If you really care about me and the children, please get rid of the gun.
Homer says he'll do it, but the next day, Marge found Bart playing with it, and she confronted Homer about it.
Of all the terrible things you've ever done in your life, this is the worst, the most despicable.
I agree with her, don't get me wrong, but she used that line so many times it's hard to keep track of all the worst things Homer's ever done. Marge takes the kids and goes to a motel, leaving Homer alone. He holds his NRA meeting, but it didn't go as he intended it to.
Anyone else want a beer?
You use your gun as a can opener?
I use it for everything.
Everybody in the NRA condemns him for using his gun so sloppily, and they tell him that guns aren't toys, so they revoke his membership.
This gun costs me everything. My wife, my kids, everything but my precious, precious gun.
Well, that's what happens when you get obsessed with power. Homer goes to the motel Marge and the kids were staying at, and he tells Marge he got rid of the gun and he wants them to come home. But as Marge was paying for their stay, Snake Jailbird came to rob the motel, but Homer pulled out his gun. Marge is upset with Homer for not getting rid of the gun.
You lied to me! Again!
But what I secretly meant was...
You've got bigger problems now. Snake takes Homer's gun, but fortunately the NRA shows up and Snake runs away. Homer apologized to Marge again and told her that the gun had a hold on him.
So please, get rid of it, because I know I'll just lie to you again and again.
Marge went to throw out the gun, but then she saw herself holding it and liked it. But this wasn't the first, nor the last time. Homer and Marge had big disagreements. Marge and Homer fight over Homer wanting to become a monorail conductor. Marge versus the monorail opens on a town meeting where the people were supposed to make a decision on what they'd like to invest in the town. Marge suggested that they should repair the broken down Main Street because it's in really bad condition, and people agreed. But then an investor named Mr. Lanley suggested that they should invest in building a monorail. The people loved the idea and they unanimously decide on it. The next day, Mr. Lanley went to Springfield Elementary to answer all of the children's questions about the monorail.
Why we should build a mass transit system in a small town with a centralized population?
That's a smart question. I wonder how he plans to get out of it. Mr. Lanley says that he can give answers, but
the only ones who'd understand it would be you and me. And that includes your teacher.
oh, he's good, and therefore up to something. Homer sees a commercial about becoming a monorail conductor, and he tells Marge he's gonna apply for that job.
No, it's my lifelong dream.
If lifelong means you just heard about it 3 seconds ago, then yes, it is your lifelong dream. Marge did some research on the monorail, and she doesn't like how it sounds. It's dangerous and very fast. She asks Homer, what if something went wrong?
Frightens me that you want to work on something that's so unsafe.
Well, monorail conductors are a crazy breed. Hats off to Marge for putting up with Homer's crazy dreams. Mr. Lanley chooses Homer to be the conductor, and Marge is really worried about him, so she goes to talk to Mr. Lanley, but instead she finds his notebook where he doodled himself with lots of cash and people, or suckers as he calls them, dying on the monorail.
How much did you see?
Nothing incriminating.
Good save. Marge decides to pay a visit to one of the towns where Mr. Lanley built the monorail, and it was a complete ghost town. She meets a man who Lanley hired to build the monorail, and he told her that Lanley cut corners everywhere he could.
This is all that's left of one of the crappiest trains ever built.
Marge asks Mr. Cobb what they can do, and he tells her,
You just better have a damn good conductor.
They have Homer. Does that count? But they get to Springfield too late, and the ride had already begun. But immediately after Homer started the train, something inside broke down and the train sped up.
How fast are they going?
Well, judging by your husband's cowardly scream, 180 miles an hour.
Homer can't stop the train, and he and Bart just peacefully decide to await their death. But then Marge calls him and tells him that he needs to find an anchor of sorts.
Think harder, Homer.
Good thing he knows his father well, or he'd be dead by now. Homer takes a rope and pulls off the letter M from the side of the train and throws it out. Eventually, it catches onto the big donut sign and stops the train.
Donuts. Is there anything they can't do?
Bart tells Homer that he's a hero.
I'm the best mono-thingy guy there ever was.
But this wasn't the first time Homer's crazy idea got Marge and his family mad and worried. Homer gets free cable, and Lisa is worried he'll be going to hell for stealing. Homer versus Lisa versus the 8th Commandment opens with Homer getting cable installed, illegally.
This is okay, isn't it? I mean, everybody does it, right?
Yeah, everyone steals.
If you're having second thoughts, just read this.
You've decided to steal cable.
At least they have a pamphlet to convince customers stealing is fine. Marge and the kids come home and Homer greets them with the good news.
You really think we can afford it?
Nothing a month? Yeah, I think we can swing that.
Are you sure this is legal?
No, not one bit, but you have your husband to thank for that. On Sunday, the family went to church, and Bart and Lisa were learning about hell in Sunday school. They also learned the 10 commandments that keep you out of it, and one of them is thou shalt not steal, which makes Lisa paranoid about going to hell. Lisa asks Homer if he's sure that what he's doing isn't stealing, and he told her to just read the pamphlet. But then Lisa started seeing hell forming around her, and the devil asking her to come sit with them and watch cable.
It won't cost you a thing, except your soul!
Oh, the mind of an 8-year-old. The next day, as she and Marge were shopping, Lisa saw Marge eat 2 grapes. Lisa asked Marge if she remembers the 8th commandment, and she's not so confident about it.
Something about covet.
Thou shalt not steal!
Gee, Lisa, don't put your mom in the spotlight like that. Lisa made Marge pay for the 2 grapes she ate, which was even more embarrassing, but she still couldn't shake off what Homer was doing with the cable. So she went to talk with Reverend Lovejoy about it. Lisa asked him if she could have Homer arrested, and he said,
Remember the 5th commandment. Honor thy father and thy mother.
Well, Homer's making that pretty hard. Reverend Lovejoy told Lisa that she should set an example for the rest of her family by not watching cable herself, and that's what she did. Marge saw how this was affecting Lisa, plus the fact that Homer caught Bart watching adult movies. She told Homer that maybe they should get rid of cable.
I never put my foot down about anything, but I am severely tempted to do it.
Wow, that's how much it means to him? Homer invited everyone he knew to come and watch a new boxing match on his new cable, and Lisa decided to protest it by sitting outside.
I just want to call attention to the fact that I'm not watching this fight. It's my form of nonviolent protest.
Oh, she's so sweet and innocent, it hurts. Lisa was disappointed that nobody came and followed her out, but Marge told her that
when you love somebody, you have to have faith that in the end, they will do the right thing.
And the right thing he did. Homer realized how much this was hurting Lisa, so he decided to step outside.
Excuse me, I hate to interrupt your judging me.
Homer said that he's going to cut the cable once the fight is over, and
Number 2, I'm not very fond of any of you.
You have to understand, Homer, he just gave up the thing he wished for the most in his life.
We may have saved your soul.
Yeah, at the worst possible time.
They'll try to find a better time next time. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment down below with your favorite time the Simpsons showed they hated each other.